Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have a small claims hearing with a woman who is suing her former landlord for the return of her security deposit. She claims that she only lived in the apartment for 4 months before they evicted her, and she says she faced harassment from management and other tenants from the day she moved in. She also claims that the apartment management forged her signature on some of the rental paperwork. What does the landlord have to say about her claims? Let's find out.
This is case cause number 39272. And how do I say your last name, ma'am?
Knitzer.
Knitzer. You're filed lawsuits against the Timber Apartments and asking for $3,396.94. You raise your right hand, please. Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
You can put your hand down. How is it that, Ms. Witt, Ms. Snyder, I'm going to hear from her first, and then following that, whichever one of you wishes to speak first, or maybe you both do, I'll take you one at a time, and then we'll go from there. So go ahead, ma'am. How is it that they break down for me that?
Okay. As an overview, I have moved into this apartment the end of January, the last couple of days in January, moved out end of May.
So you're only there for like about 4 months or so?
4 months, yes, sir. The very first day I moved into, and almost every day thereafter, I was faced with harassment. Starting with the neighbor from upstairs, and it started the very first morning I woke up, and it never stopped. I have been threatened 4 to 6 times. Some of it is in writing, with the threat of being evicted.
Well, from what I understand and from what I'm reading, that there were some issues about your dog?
Yeah, there was some issue. I was called on the carpet for everything. This was one the neighbor said my dog was running loose. Yeah. And I said my dog is not loose. So I started taking picture of the person next door because she has a dog kind of white, but they said it was a white dog that was running loose. That was it. And I was called on the carpet. Like I said, I was called on the carpet for everything they could find. Okay, so so I don't know.
Here's where we're at. Here's where I'm at, ma'am.
Yes.
And so I've reviewed. I didn't see. I looked. There says defendant exhibits. I didn't see any exhibits or pictures or anything like that was submitted by you.
Well,
let me finish.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And so my understanding of what happened is you were there for a period of time. At some point, they decided that you would have to leave. And then let me finish, ma'am. And then they gave you notice, and then you eventually left. And then there's the issue of the deposit. I saw some records in there as to why they kept the deposit. And then now you're asking for, again, a judgment in the amount of nearly $3,400. What I need to know is, what did they do wrong? How is it that you're owed that money? And you need to itemize all that and explain why.
Okay, they did not give me a receipt of anything, but that's okay. What really got me going, I was going to move out, give my deposit, and just forget this place. But on the June 7th, I had not, by June 7th, after moving out end of May, I think it was like that. Yeah. No, July 7th, by July 7th, after moving out end of May, I have not received a notice of my deposit or received the deposit. I went to the department, to the timber apartment, and I said, I've never received anything on my deposit. And they said, here it is, it was returned. They only had half of the address that was required. So it was returned. It was incorrect. They couldn't deliver the letter.
So they sent it to you, but you didn't
But
get it.
it was returned, right?
Okay, all right.
So they did send it to me. And so on the 7th, when I picked up the papers, I left, I went into my car and I read, whoa, there is an attachment. It's called apartment condition move-in. That was falsified. I did not see that paper.
Was this the one when you moved out?
When I moved out on this
Okay.
July 7th is when I received, that was part of my paperwork that
And that what you're saying, at some point you said that was forged.
That is forged.
Okay.
What I did is I contacted, there was a phone number in the website, and I contacted, at first I contacted a Houston County non-emergency number. I eventually spoke to an Officer Johnson, batch 71. And I told him about the forgery of this document. And he wanted to have copies of signatures. So I sent him copies of all of my signatures on checkbooks and other stuff. And he said, that's enough. He said, it is clearly a forgery. They say it was never forged.
Right.
I have never even seen that document. And in fact, when I wrote them an email on the 7th of July, I sent those people an email and saying they have 1 week to return my monies. And I said, or I will take it to court. So.
Well, okay, so first of all,
Yes, sir.
so that security deposit was $1,000.
Yeah,
You're asking for nearly $3,400.
correct.
So yeah, I need you to itemize the rest of that for me.
I will try to, and I probably don't get it, but that's okay. What I'm going to say is this. I was there for 4 months. I was harassed. The maintenance man, I cannot prove it, but the maintenance man went out there, dumped stuff in the hallway. I got a letter from them saying I have to clean it up by this date. The maintenance man and the people went like this when they seen me getting upset. They managed it. So to me, that was a sign, hey, we did it, we got it, okay? And they tried to run over me, the apartment from upstairs. She was in good friends with the people in the office. She was there for several years. And like I said, the very first day it started. And that's because I tied my dog onto a railing so I could get some items out of the trunk of my car. And it wasn't going to be long. And she comes running in and she starts yelling at me. And I said, I can't understand you. I'm hard of hearing. And then she just yelled some more and just walked up. But there were attempts. They're coming over to the garbage can where I was standing, trying to run me over. It was ongoing. It was a nightmare. It was so hard. And that's why I've said, okay, and then the managers, your dog's loose. Your dog's barking. You got cardboards in the window. You need to move them out. You can have cardboards in the window, even though other people had them. I've got a letter on that too. What else? Threats of evictions in writing, some of it, but never happened. Just harassment. And so I had a break-in attempt for my window. My window was pulled down, the window screen. I took a picture of that. And I think I sent it in. But it was a 4 month.
I will tell you, ma'am, I didn't see any pictures sent in by you.
It's okay. It's okay. It's just pretend you don't have it, but I have it here.
Okay, well, I don't, it's not something I can pretend. I actually don't have.
It's okay, sir. Let me see what I got. And one of the reasons I asked for that much money is because when I went there for for an apartment, they quoted me different prices than what I was actually charged. They had temps working there, and I was told 1,300, then I was told 1,400, and then they compromised eventually in between, and I did sign the freaking paper. And that's why I have part of that money in there. It's a difference of what I was originally quoted and what I eventually signed for. It was about a $50 or $75 difference in rent. And for 4 months, I added that to this list. And the reason I requested moving fee is because even though I asked for it to move out, and after about 7 months, they said, yes, you can. This is when you can move out without penalty. Yes, they did do that for me. But because of the harassment, I've asked, and because they wanted me out, I feel strongly they wanted me out. Basically because of this lady up there and the one next door. And so I felt like I deserved the moving cost. That's what I did. So
Go ahead. We can hear from one of the folks from the Timbers.
Pardon?
I want to hear from at least one of the folks from the Timbers, and then I'll come back and let you.
I'm looking for some of the pictures.
Okay. Who's going to speak first?
I will, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
And do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. Go ahead. What's your perspective on what we've heard thus far?
Your Honor, so I'm the regional manager, and I'm quite familiar with Helga. The staff there at the property communicated with me quite often about what was happening. So Helga, a brief rundown because there's a lot of moving parts here. Helga signed her lease on January 29th of 2025. The lease term was through December 31st of 2025. She moved in and she was having her and her neighbors surrounding her were having consistent complaints. So not only did the neighbors have complaints with Helga, Helga had complaints with the neighbors. So they weren't eviction notices, they were 30-day comply notices to basically whatever we were trying to resolve the disputes between each neighbor and make all parties happy. Unfortunately, it just continued between the neighbors, the disputes, to the point that police were called between the two of them. And Helga continually
What was this all about,
emailed requests.
as far as you know?
There was a lot of about trash left in the hallways. There was disputes, complaints regarding her animal. Helga, I think at one point had followed the other resident to a laundry room and started yelling at her. It just became very unhealthy for all parties involved. And Helga continued to email requesting to break her lease. At that point, 4 months in, roughly, we went ahead and decided, I think it would be best if we allow her to break her lease. So we allowed her to do that. And we did not penalize her for breaking her lease at that point in time. As for the apartment condition checklist, so that is a form that the resident signs, and I'm not sure if Helga's not remembering that form, but that's a form that is signed along with the lease and the other addendums when a resident moves in. So it's not something that Helga would have signed upon her move out. That is a form that is signed that would have been signed back on January 29th. So I'm not sure where that was coming from. And then as far as the
move out charges. When Helga moved in, the carpet was brand new. She was only there for roughly, again, 4 months, and we provided pictures from the dog of the pet damage from the urine. And so it did have to be replaced. And so that total with the invoice is attached to the documents. So that was where Helga ended up owing the $696. That was the balance.
And so that if
After
I
the-
understand, like the move in, and I have it in front of me right now, the signature was put on there on January 25th. And then below that, when it says resident credits, somebody wrote in $1,000 security deposit, and then it's like carpet, like 14 something, 86 cents, and then cleaning for 240. And then that left the two, and that was written after. So this wasn't written when that part of it was written when they were moved out. But the upper part of it where the signature is, that was back in January. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, yeah, the bottom signature.
Hold it for a second. So do you
on the-
understand that, ma'am? Hang on just a minute.
Yeah, I understood what she said.
So
but
that signature wasn't, they're not saying that signature was put there when you moved out. And I got to tell, yeah, that's where I'm looking at the same thing. And I will tell you, I'm not a handwriting expert, but I did make a copy of it and I looked at other places where you'd sign stuff. And I got to be honest with you, ma'am, it looks an awful lot like your signature. I mean, it's either an excellent forgery, which I handed out, or it's actually your signature back in
Did
January.
you happen to see the contract signature or the ones below?
I looked at you have a number of signatures there, both on checks and other stuff, and I kind of matched them. Again, I'm not a
It's
handwriting
okay, I'm
expert.
not-
Okay, so hang
I
on
know
just a
you're
second.
the judge,
So,
and that's
ma'am,
okay. But
yeah, and I didn't interrupt you and I didn't interrupt them and they didn't interrupt you either. So let me finish my thought, okay? So, yeah, I'm not a handwriting expert and, but when you're the plaintiff in a lawsuit, you bear a responsibility, a burden of proof, and you need to get some sort of testimony that's going to convince me that that's not your signature. And so anyway, I just wanted to let you know that.
okay.
So Ms. Snyder was speaking, and I'm going to let her finish, if she's not, unless she already is finished.
I'm about finished. I just wanted to say, to Helga that the $1,000 security deposit was used towards that balance, the move out balance, to replace that carpet. And we understand that she had shoulder surgery. And so, that security, that $1,000 went towards those move out balances. So that was used. It wasn't withheld. And so that's basically all I have to say, Judge.
Well, and then you told me that the carpet was new when she moved in.
Yes.
And then I thought I saw in there that tell me about the condition it was in when she moved out, and then I'll have her respond to it at the appropriate time.
Okay. So there was pictures provided of the pet damage. When Helga had vacated and given keys, we went in and there was a strong odor of urine. And so the pictures of the pet damage, the urine stains, were provided, as well as the cleaning cost as well, with the receipts from the vendors.
And then now, last thing, tell me about sending her, as I'm sure you well know, there's time limits involved in getting these things to a tenant who moves out. Tell me about that.
Correct. Helga provided in an email the forwarding address that she wanted the apartment condition checklist mailed out to. Unfortunately, it was the incorrect address, and this was May 31st. Helga came in on June 7th to receive that returned envelope back to the office because we weren't provided with the correct forwarding address.
When did she move out?
May 31st.
Okay, so she got that within 30 days.
Correct.
Is what you're telling me. Okay, all right. Okay, so Ms. Witt, did you have anything you wish to add? I'll swear you in as well.
No, Your Honor, I'm just here with Jordana because I was here in the office when it first started.
Okay. So Ms. Yeah, I knew that. Thank you. Talk to me about the carpet. She's saying that there was pet urine on the carpet and it smelled. And,
The carpet was absolutely, I swear to God, was not clean, was not new. They may have shampooed it, but when you shampoo a carpet,
so I'm gonna stop you.
okay,
I'm more interested in the condition it was in when you left, rather than when you, because if.
would you repeat that question?
I said, I want to know what condition the apartment was in when you left the apartment.
It was clean. The man that I tried to get to come in, but we broke up. He said, you know, you cleaned it. If I walk in that house, it would look, I would be happy. So just that much. But the apartment, when I left, it was clean. I cleaned the fridge, I cleaned the cabinets, I cleaned the floor, I vacuumed the carpets. I cleaned everything except the stove top because that requires the knife that you clean the flat stove with, and I couldn't do it with my arm. So, but that one was dirty. Clean, wiped down, yes, but not clean, like I would like to have had. So, but other than that, it was good. It was good. So I don't know what to say, but may I show you the apartment condition checklist and some pictures? No.
Give me just a second. Can I print from here? You should be hooked up to the printer. Okay.
That's important.
Hang on a second. I forgot to look. What pictures do you wish to show me, ma'am? And how many are there? And I'm going to assume that.
Can I come up?
Yeah. How many pictures? Wait, just wait. Wait.
Oh, okay.
How many pictures do you want me to see, first of all?
Okay. One of them is signature, and the other one is where they took the screen down, where the screen was broken
Okay,
down.
well, you weren't, what you were, okay.
And
So
one of them is.
Here's where I'm at, ma'am. Okay. I said, here's where I'm at with regard to this case.
Okay.
You know, I don't find that the long and the short of it is, you know, this was a tenancy which apparently didn't go well from the start. It was your desire to leave, and I think that kind of seems that was kind of mutual after a while. And then you left, and I don't have any itemization for anything. So really what it gets down to is whether or not you get your damage deposit back. And it looks like you got a appropriate notice. I'm looking at a picture, which appears to me to be urine damage on a carpet. And that was, you know, with the screen being torn down, they're not deducting for that. So that's not an issue.
Okay.
What the issue that I'm interested in is the condition of the carpet, because, and there was a cleaning fee, which is that cleaning fee, is that a non-refundable thing that's done on taken from every deposit?
That was just the cleaning vendor charge.
Got it. Okay. So there's a cleaning thing, and you yourself said it wasn't clean, and then there was the condition of the apartment of the carpet. So that's kind of the picture. I don't need to see the vent screen. That's not an issue. Okay. So, but go ahead. What do you want? I'll let you finish.
Well, I can see, other people can see that this is a forgery, and I don't.
Well, I can't. And I mean,
sorry.
I just can't.
It's okay. So I'm okay. You're the boss.
Well,
it's okay.
So, and you know, I'll say, well, this is what I'm ready to rule on this case, ma'am. And this is what I'm going to do. So, well, first of all, where are you living now? Did you land at a good place, or where?
I love it. I really love it. Right. It's so nice.
Well, that's good.
It's 1,100 square.
I don't need to know. I just need to know whether or not it's a good place or not. But, you know, in the, you know, you're the plaintiff. Anytime a plaintiff, the plaintiff in the lawsuit has some certain responsibilities. And that, they carry burden in criminal cases, they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that that the person did what they're saying, what you're doing. This is not a criminal case. This is a small claim civil case, but there's still standards and burdens of proof. And you have to show beyond a reasonable doubt, or not by a preponderance of the evidence. Is it more likely than not that the withholding of the deposit was unreasonable, they didn't have a reason to do that, or was done in bad faith, or anything like that. And ma'am, I just can't find that in this case. And so I'm happy that you're at a good place. I hope that continues to go well for you. But but in this case, I'm going to find for the defense, and I'm not going to award a judgment in this case. All right.
Okay.
And you're free to leave.
Thank you.
And then the folks from the Timbers are free to go as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So we're going to have, looks like we're going to have two other trials. And then we're going to start with Ms. Dakuti
Oh, great.
and the heart-to-heart home care.
Okay.
And so
I'm here.
then